and that's me, in case you can't see me there on the camera. I'm a Client Success Manager, and I'm here for your trainings, and I'm your guide for this webinar today. Okay, so I'm going to close out this, and I'm going to move this here. Okay, I'm going to raise my desk just a little bit here. All right, so what we're going to play around with today is the Green Tech High School webinar site. So this is our test bed site. This is where we test new features, right? This is where we can try and break some of our features, before we release them out to the public there, to the other schools. And this is where we do our demonstrations. So you're going to see on the site a lot of features that you might see on your own site. And on the site, if you don't see a feature, like maybe you want a countdown timer in your school, or maybe you want a marquee feature up here, if you want those things but don't have them, you can get them included on your website, because here's a little secret. Any of these features that you see on the Green Tech Webinar High School site, you can actually add to your own site. Green Tech High School is not actually high school. It's just something we created to show off all of our neat features, okay? So what we're going to focus on today is forms, okay? And what forms are is a way to do everything that you're doing on paper right now, and you can actually do that electronically. Some of you may be familiar with Google Forms, and if you are, then this is going to be pretty familiar. If you're not, well, then I've got some exciting information for you, because this is going to be pretty useful, I imagine, for you, okay? And what this will do is it'll help you save some time, right? It'll help you save some of your energy, right? And it'll be a convenient way to store files. So you don't have to store things in file cabinets anymore, or on paper, or on paper trails. You can do this online, and all the data that you collect through your forms, you can actually export and share with other coworkers via a spreadsheet. So you can export all of the data that you're going to find through using these forms. What are some useful ways for forms, or what do people mostly use them for? I have a whole list, okay? So people use forms for the absent request forms. They do student surveys, preschool surveys, educational outcomes, public school surveys, employment applications, volunteer applications, chaperone applications, extracurricular sign-ups, event forms, student enrollment, donation forms, so you can collect donations and through a form there. You can do field trip and permission forms, before and after care forms. If somebody wants to sign up and then pay for before or after school care, they can just do that right there through a form. And so those are just some of the ideas here, and a lot of different ways you can use forms to reduce your workload. So that's really the big point of using the forms, is to take everything that you're doing on paper so that you have a digital version of that you can access at any time, and you can share very easily with coworkers. So what we're going to focus on today is the school year application form. And to be honest, I'm going to do a very simple form here today for you, because I don't want it, there's a lot of things that you can get done with the forms. You can make them pretty and complex, but today I'm just going to do a very simple form demonstration so that you at least get familiar with the system, and you can start playing around with it on your own and learn the ins and outs. Okay, so we're going to create a school year application form, and then I'll show you all the features. But before we do that, I'm just going to show you the live form that we already have. Okay, so you can see that this is our school year application form. We have today's date, right, that we can put in there. We have first name, last name, and address information. We have an email and phone number. We even have campuses, certain campuses that you're applying for. Are you applying for North Campus, South Campus, West Campus, or East Campus? And what's scheduled? Do you like morning classes or afternoon classes, or maybe even evening classes? And then there's a verification code just to make sure that you don't get spammed and that there's actual humans submitting a form, okay? So this is what a pretty simple form looks like. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the back end of the website. Okay, I'm going to go to the back end of our website, and this is our URL here. Your URL might say admin.school.org, and I'm going to log in as my admin user. I'm going to hit login, and here I'm going to go find my form section. Okay, and the form section is going to be roughly underneath the graduation countdown countdown timer, if I can say that right today, and it's going to be above publications. Okay, so I'm going to click forms. Okay, and when I go to my forms, I'm actually going to go to show all forms. The reason why is because that will show every single form that we have available on that's ever been built. Okay, so as an admin, you're going to want to do show all forms, so you can just see all the ones that are there. Sometimes people wonder where their forms have gone because they didn't click that button, so I'm just saving you a headache there. Okay, so I want to show you this one. This is the school year application form live. Okay, school year application form live. You can see that it has 9 submissions over here on the right-hand column. You can do a few different things. You can check out the submissions here, and you can do keyword searches by submission. So you can search for a name, right? Or you can do a date of when things have been submitted. You can export this data into an Excel spreadsheet here, so you can see who, so you can collect all the, let's say you need to send an email to all the ones that got accepted. You can export this as an Excel spreadsheet and just simply sort by who've been accepted and grab their email address. And you can see that there's a status field here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to build all this. All right, so going back to the form here, let's go ahead. Actually, we'll just do a couple other things. You can go to the form editor if you ever need to edit a form. And these are all drag and drop features, right? See how I'm dragging them and dropping them, dragging and dropping, right? So it's a pretty easy form builder. We're going to build one here live. I'm going to leave this. Okay. So why don't we start with building a very simple school application form, okay? So let's begin. I'm going to go down to the bottom here where it says create new form, and I'm going to click this button. And I'm going to call this one school year application number 2. Okay? So I'm just going to call this school year application number 2. Actually, I'm just going to say school year application 2017. Okay? You could put a description here. Used for new prospective students. Let's see, used for. Okay, we're going to set it to active. Now you can set this to be permanently active, or you can set it to be active over a certain duration. For example, if you wanted to have it run from December, let's see, 29th to, maybe we'll just do, I don't know, April 28th, right? You can set this form active so that it's active and live through the duration of this period, and then it's not live after that, right? So you can set it so if you only need a form available for a certain amount of time, this would be a great option to do that. But in this case, I'm just going to create it active, right? Because as a school year application, I want to know, I don't want to have people not have the opportunity to apply. Okay, so under managers, now you can do something pretty neat here. You can have multiple managers, right? So if there's maybe 2 or 3 people working on school year applications, because you guys get a lot, you can set it to have multiple managers. Okay, see that? Let's do here and there, okay? Below this, you can do after submission. So actually, before we get into this, when you have a manager, what that means is that they will have access to the form. So they can view submissions, they can edit the form, right? And they can be basically a manager for the form so that you're able to have a team to work with. And they'll have full privileges, if you will, to be able to edit things that need to be edited. So maybe you're out of town, right, and you need a certain staff member to help you out. they'd be able to do that if they're a manager. Okay. So after submission, so you're typically going to want to show a confirmation message, like "Thank you for your submission. We'll contact you shortly." Okay, so you typically want to have an after submission message because that lets the person know that it's been submitted and everything's good to go. Typically you want to let them, probably want to inform them of what the next steps are in your thank you message or in your message after they've submitted. In this case, it's just thanking them for their submissions and then letting them know we'll contact them shortly. You can say, we'll contact you within 24 to 48 hours. Okay, this lets them know that, oh, okay, I just submitted and I'll be contacted within the next day or two. Okay. So you can see here that you can enable credit card charges if you need to pay for these applications. So maybe if it's a $5 or $10 fee to apply to the school, you can do that. You just simply click this button after integrating your merchant account, and then they'd be able to do that. Okay, and then generally you're going to want to save this, right? Because that will take us to the next step, right? So we're going to save this here. You could send a copy of the submission to the user's email. However, we haven't set this up yet. So we'll come back to this screen to enable that so that when somebody submits and applies, they'll be able to get a copy of that through their email. And it's just a nice thing for them to have because it reminds them that, oh yeah, they submitted. Okay, so I'm just going to hit save. Okay, so you can see I have school year application 2017, okay? 0 submissions and this little upside down triangle here. We're going to go down to the form editor, okay? The form editor. Okay, so this is a form editor, it's blank. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build this out. And it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. For most of the things that you're going to need, like names and phone numbers and things of that nature, you're going to use a single line text. And you're going to take this single line text here, right? See that? You're going to drop it over here. Okay? Then you're going to want to double click this. And you're going to want to change the single line here, and I'm going to put first name, right? And we're going to make this a required field because we need their first name. And we're going to hit update. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing again by dragging over the single line field here, double clicking. I'm going to put last name. Okay, and we're going to make this a required field because we also need to know what their last name is. Okay. Now I'm probably going to want to know their address. Right? I'm probably going to want to have an address for them if they're going to be applying. So instead of just doing a bunch of single line text for street name and city and all that fun stuff, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this address thing and save you a lot of time and take the address and drag it over here. And then boom, look at that. That just probably saved you 10 minutes or so of dragging and dropping single line text, and now you have a nice address field here. Okay, but we're not done because we're probably going to want their phone number. Okay, so I'm going to put their phone number here as a single line text. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to put phone number. And we can put some help text. Help text lets them know a little bit more information. So we could say, please provide your cell phone, or please provide, yeah, your cell phone number, or mobile number, your mobile number. Okay? And we're going to go to this validate option here, and we're going to select phone. And the reason why we're going to do this is when they enter their phone number into the field on the application, it's going to format all the phone numbers to be exactly the same. So if you've ever dealt with data or big spreadsheets where the phone numbers were all jumbled and they didn't look right, and they're hard to read because they just put in their phone number without any breaks, it makes it difficult to get that information. Sometimes you get their phone number wrong and all that stuff. So this just makes it easy. It's a nice formatted way, and we're going to make this a required field because we're going to need to call them, right? Okay, and we should probably make this address field required as well. Okay, so now we have a phone number. And see that help text? It's a help text. It says, please provide your mobile number, right? So that helps them know, oh, I need to put my mobile number there, not my, house line. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to drag in the email field right here. Okay, instead of doing a single line text, we're going to do the email field, or make the email required. Okay, and what we want to do is probably have a today's date. So I'm going to take the today's date. I'm actually going to drag it to the top here, like that. So it's there. And I probably want to have, I want to have like a section header so that there's different, so that there's a nice break in there's a nice break in variation. So we could put over here, instead of saying section header, we could say student info, student information. Okay, so see how it created a nice break there? And we can even do that again. We can even do, we can double click, we can take the same section header, we can say parent information. Or it could be guardian information, parent or guardian information. So we'll just do that. And then what we can do here is we can put in the single line text, right? We'll put first name, required field. We can do another one. Just do the last name. I'm just going to kind of speed things up here because I'm pretty sure we get the idea. I'm going to put a phone number. Okay, and we will do required field phone number. We'll do email. Okay, email. Okay, I'll make that required. Okay, now you can even do options too. So you can do, for example, if you needed to confirm, you could say, is home, so you could do home address, same as student. Same as student, we could say no. Or we would say not the same. Let's see, home address, same as student, not the same address. Okay, you can make this a required field, right? So you could have this. You could also do a lot of different things, but I'm just showing you a radio feature where it can be an either/or option. And then if you wanted to, you could say, put in a note feature here. Okay. You could say, actually, nope, not the note feature. My apologies. We'll just delete this here. This is how you delete something if you make a mistake and don't need it. And we'll just delete this here. Okay. And we can put a multi-line text right here. This is the one I wanted to do. Okay. And you could say, if address is different, please provide here. Okay. And And we won't make that a required field since it's not required, okay? So you can see how you can have an option for somebody to do an either or and then provide that information, okay? And then we're going to do another section header here. We're going to say campus selection, okay? And over here we're going to do another radio option. Okay, we'll say, which campus would you prefer? We'd say North Campus, Midtown Campus, we'll say West Side Campus, and we'll just say South Campus, okay? And we'll make this a required field because we need to know which one they're applying for. And then we can do, let's do a checkbox. Please provide, or no, we'll say preference on classes, on class schedule. We can say please select all that apply. Okay, so we'll say morning classes, which I like because I'm a morning person. That'd be my first choice. Morning classes, afternoon classes, after school classes. Okay? Maybe we'll do weekend classes if we really want to get crazy with it. Okay, so there we go, and we'll make this a required field because we need to know what class schedule they have or what they would prefer. Okay, and they can select all that apply. Okay, so see how this form's coming together, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a section header here, and we're going to put this as internal use only. We'll make this an internal use only field. Okay, update that. Okay, and what we're going to say we're going to use a radio button. Okay, you could use a drop down too if you wanted to, but in this case we're just going to use a radio button. We're going to say status of application. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to make this accepted, needs further review, not approved. Okay, make this a required field, and it's going to be internal use only. So what that means is when somebody views the submissions, they'll be able to look at this, and the managers they'll be able to accept the application. They can mark it as needs further review, and they can say not approved. Okay, so this can be a nice way to work, create a nice workflow with your colleagues at work, because different managers and different people can see the number of applications that they have and which ones have been approved, which ones still need to be reviewed, and which ones have not been approved. Okay, so this is a pretty nice form here, and what we're gonna do to add just a nice finishing touch to this is put a note section up here. Okay, and what this is going to do is the note section is used for just letting the user know what you need. So you could say something like or it shares information. So you can say, we're accepting applications year round. Please read and review. Please read carefully and double check your answers prior to submitting. So let's just say I've run into an issue where I've had people just give us inaccurate information. I could put this at the top. I can even use it as an alert / warning, because if it's been a really big issue, I want people to read that first, right? So it ends up looking like this, right? We're accepting applications year-round. Please read carefully and double check your answers prior to submitting, okay? And you can change the submit button. I just like it being submit, so I think that's fine. We don't need to change that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview the form to see what it looks like. Okay, so there is the description of the form, right? And it says just double click on the form fields to on your left to add. You can also drag and drop from the field. Okay, so this for some reason isn't preview. Let's see, the preview form is good. Maybe I need to save the form actually. We'll save it and then we preview it. Okay, there we go. That's what it is. Okay, so you can see here that the description, we may want to change that or just leave that out entirely, which we'll do in a minute. And then we can see that this is the nice warning text, right, that you can have so that people actually read it. And then there is your address fields here, okay, and phone number, right? So there's our form, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, so we've saved it, and I'm going to close it, okay? And what we're going to do here, school year application form, right? I'm going to go to show on, actually I'm going to edit something real quick. I'm going to go down to the main settings, and I'm going to take the description out, okay, because we don't need it. Okay, so I'm going to go to this little upside down triangle here, and I'm going to go to show on website. This is a nice feature because, and I need to zoom out for a second so I can see this clearly. This is a nice feature because what you can do is you can send this URL. See this URL, this address here at the top? You can actually copy that, paste it, and then send it to folks that need to apply, right? So you can put it in an email, or you could even put it in a help desk ticket to get it submitted to our team, okay? So here we go. All right, so I'm going to fill this one out just to show you a couple neat things, okay? One is I'm going to put today's date here. Put Justin Jensen. I'll put, let's see, I live in, just put 333 North Street. Okay. And let's see, Hollywood, California, 90028. Okay, I'll put my phone number here. See, watch this. If I just do this, right? See how it auto-formatted? Pretty cool. Okay, I'll put my email, jjensen@educationalnetworks. Oops. Need some more coffee. There we go. Okay. And I'll just put my own name again. I'll just start filling this stuff out. See how that phone number field works. I'll just put the same email address here. I'll just mark same as student. Okay. And I would like the Midtown campus, and I would like morning and afternoon classes. Okay. I'm going to go B7KTL to submit this. Okay. Boom. All right. So see this message here. Thank you for your submission. We'll contact you within 24 to 48 hours. Okay. And then there's my submission. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to refresh this page, and you can see that we have a new submission here. So I'm going to click this. Okay. And when you have a new submission, it's going to ask you to customize your list on how you want to view the information. So let's go ahead and click on this. And for my purposes, I'm going to want to basically know just a couple things. Okay, just a couple things. I'm going to want to know the first and last name, and I'm going to want to know the date of the submission. Now, you can only do 5 fields, so I need to be careful with this. I think I'll do, actually maybe, yeah, 5 columns. So I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to want their email address, okay, for my spreadsheet. And this is going to be the student email, okay, so we should probably change that on the form just so it's more clear. And then I'm going to want to know status of application, Okay. And I may want to know a couple other things too. Like maybe I'll just do first name or last name, and I'll want to know, maybe I want to know what their campus is. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to hit save. Okay, and so here it already, there's the date, there's the last name, your the email, the campus, right, and the status of application. Okay, and you can see that it's blank. So what I'm going to want to do to review this is if I double click this, I could see their information that they provided. And if I go all the way down, I can look at the internal field, right? And if this one looks good, I'm going to hit accepted, update, and then close. And then now when I refresh this, the status of the application has changed to accepted. Okay? So you see how that works there? Good. Good, good, good. All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you one last feature here, or a couple last features. And I'm going to go down to my school year application right here. I'm going to click this upside down triangle. I'm going to go to main settings, and I want folks to be able to receive a copy of their email. Okay, so we're just going to leave it as that. Okay, it automatically pulls the email field, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Oops, I'm going to choose this one. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, and we noticed a couple things too, right? So I'm going to go back to my form editor, and I'm going to change this to student email. I'll put parent. You know what's crazy? The students have emails now. I didn't have emails. Like when I was in school, we had AOL dial-up, right? Like how's that? Okay, parent email. Okay, student email, parent email. Okay, so I want to save those so that the fields pull up more clearly on the form. I'm going to close the editor. Okay, the other thing I'm going to show you is notifications, and I think you're going to really like this because, check this out. I'm going to go down to notifications. Okay, see how we have no notifications. So I'm just going to add a notification here. Now, why would I add a notification? Well, let's say you want to get your forms, you want to get notified via email about people that applied to North Campus or Midtown Campus or South Campus, right? Maybe certain people need to be notified about that, okay? So you can add a notification to the submission so that when somebody applies and selects a certain field, you'll get an email notification. So you don't have to like log back into the CMS and like check all these things. You can just go add a notification. You can notify the user if they're in the system, and if they're not in the system, you can just put in their email address right here. So I'm in the system, so I'm just going to select that. But look, you can add somebody else's email if you need to. And I'm going to add a condition. Okay, a condition just lets the notification know what information needs to be looked at to be able to send the notification. Okay, so I'm gonna just do one that's really simple: status of application. So Justin just needs to know who got accepted because he's going to make the phone calls to let the parents or students know that they got accepted. Okay, so that's the notification we're going to set today. And what we want to have that text match is accepted. Okay, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so what this is going to do is every time you hit accept on a form submission, it's going to email Justin letting him know that he needs to call these people. Like he needs to call the parent or student and let them know the good news that they got accepted. Okay, so you can set a notification, and you can do this. You can add. Look, you can even add several notifications. I'm not going to do that because I want to keep this simple. Just so you know, that's a nice feature, a really nice feature about this forms module where you can add notifications so that in this example, every time an application gets accepted, the right person gets notified, and that person can call them and say, hey, congrats, you got accepted. Okay, so that's about it. So welcome. That's about it. Welcome to any questions at the moment. We do have a couple questions here right off the bat. Let me just read this real quick. Okay, so the question is, can I do after-school care and charge for it? Yes, you can. I don't know if I have one here. Do I have one here? I don't have one. What you can do though is you can do like, we'll just take a donations form example. Let's just take a look. Okay, so see where that payment information is? So you would just sync up your merchant account, you put the payment information, and then you put the dollar amount, right, of what it is, right here, and you'd be able to charge for that as well. Okay, so yes, you can. You can add, you just add dollar amount here, right, like that. Okay, and make that required. I'm going to delete that real quick. So you can do that. So you can charge for these services. Okay. Great question. Great question. All right. So you can see that. What are some other examples? That's another good question. Okay. So we have a sports registration page. Let's see what this one looks like. I didn't create some of these, right? But you can see that you have your parent's name, parent's daytime phone number. Okay. So you can create these. You can include the fees for them, for the sports, and look, you can even do another credit card charge right there as well. Okay, so that's another good example. Another good example here is, let's see, PE equipment request form. Oh, that one's not filled out. Let's see. Let's see what this one is. This one's for a school. Okay, so this one was for this was an example run for a school where it looks like it's about an event, so that's an example of an event form. And yeah, so there's a lot of different things you can do with the form there. So really good question, really good question. There's one for transcripts. Let's just take a look at that real quick, see what that looks like. Cool. Actually, let's preview the form so you can see it. Okay, so this is what a transcript example would look like. Looks like it's a request form. Oh, and there's also a payment information, and there's a total right there. Okay, so that's an example of how you can use the form examples. All right, cool. Well, everybody, if you have any questions, I'm going to put my email here in the chat box window. Okay. Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so how do I get my forms put on the main website? Okay, that's a great question. So I'm going to go back to the form that we just made, and I'm going to go to Show on Website. I'm going to grab this URL. Okay, and if you want it to show up in one of these drop-down menus here, like we have the school year application form, you would simply just go to the back end of your system here, go to the very top, click on Help Desk, create ticket, make sure it says Educational Technical Support, put in your email, your phone number, and say something like, hey team, I would love to have this form show up as the first item under the parent navigation menu on the home page. Okay, and you just put the URL there so that they know what the form looks like. You can even take a snapshot, add attachment, and then you just hit submit, and then our tech team would contact you within about 24 hours with any questions or let you know what it's about. That was a great question. Last thing, everyone, is you can click on this web here. Let me do that again because that was a little quick. If you want to know the webinar schedule, click on this button right here, and what it'll do is it'll take you to a new window, and you can see where we have upcoming webinars. Again, we run webinars all the time, and if you want to, here I'll just drag this URL here. You can go to this URL at any time and check out our webinars. I'll put that here in the chat box window. Okay, we run each one. You can see we run each one about 2 to 3 times a month, and we usually update the calendar towards the end of the week. Okay, so towards the end of this week, we'll be updating for next week, and That's about it. So I thank you very much for coming on today's webinar. Be sure to contact us if you need help. Again, there's our tech number. That's our hours of operation there. And there's our social media stuff. So contact us, connect with us, follow us, like us, tweet at us, do whatever. And I thank you for coming on today's webinar. Again, I'm Justin Jensen. I'm your host. I'm your Client Success Manager here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.